I was sitting in my tiny jewelry shop in Portland, Maine, surrounded by glittering pieces under fluorescent lights. My hands held small pliers, meticulously bending a gold wire to finish a wedding ring for a young couple. The atmosphere was familiar to the point of monotony, the scent of metal mixed with soft music from an old radio, and the occasional voices of customers asking prices. I, Gwen Emeraldson, 35 years old, had grown accustomed to this rhythm. Being a jeweler wasn't some grand dream, but it was stable, allowing me to think about other things, like my mother in Sebago Lake, just a few hours' drive from Portland. I often told myself I'd visit her this weekend, but work, wife, and kids' life kept pulling me away. Today was an ordinary day until the phone rang. I glanced at the screen. Unknown number, but a familiar area code, Sebago Lake. My heart beat a little faster. Maybe Mom calling from a neighbor's phone. She often forgot to charge hers. I answered cheerfully, "Hello, Mom." The voice on the other end wasn't hers. It was a woman, professional but laced with regret. "Mr. Gwen Emeraldson? This is a nurse from Sebago Lake Hospital. I'm very sorry to inform you. Mrs. Callan Emeraldson, your mother, passed away this morning after a stroke." The world around me suddenly stopped. The radio faded. The customer trying on a bracelet went silent. Even my heartbeat seemed to pause. "What? No way," I whispered, gripping the phone so tightly my knuckles turned white. "Mom? Gone?" She'd called me just last week, voice strong, talking about her backyard garden and asking about the unborn grandchild. A stroke? How could it be so sudden? It felt like a punch to the chest. The air in the shop grew stifling heavy. How is she? Can I see her?" The nurse sighed. "You should come right away. We'll explain everything when you arrive." I dropped the pliers, stood like a robot. Customers stared oddly, but I didn't care. I rushed out, forgetting to lock the display case. Car keys fell twice before slotting in. The engine roared. I sped off, cold Maine October wind rushing through the open window. I-95 blurred ahead. I floored it, overtaking slow trucks. Anxiety and worry surged. "Mom, why didn't you wait for me?" I wondered, tears blurring my vision. Memories flooded back. Mom with calloused hands, always smiling gently when I visited, cooking my favorite clam chowder. She'd faced old age alone, Dad buried in work, my brother Noor far away in Boston, and my wife, Olivia. Oh, she never liked coming home. The 2-hour drive felt like hell. I imagined everything. Mom lying there alone, no one beside her. Did she suffer? Did she call my name? The more I thought, the tighter my chest knotted. I tried calling Dad, Emerald Emeraldson, owner of a small boatyard, the cold man I'd never truly been close to. The phone rang endlessly, no answer. "What's he doing?" I muttered, voice shaking. Then Noor, my 32-year-old successful Boston investment broker brother. Again, endless ringing. "Where is everyone?" I yelled in the car, pounding the steering wheel. Finally, I texted Olivia. "Mom's gone. I'm heading to Sebago Hospital." "Come," message sent, then seen, no reply. My heart plummeted. Why was no one here with me now? Sebago Lake Hospital emerged amid pine forests, a white building under a gray sky. I parked haphazardly, ran into the lobby, breathing hard. "I'm Gwen Emeraldson, Callan's son." "Where is she?" I asked reception, voice cracking. A middle-aged nurse led me to a waiting room. She had a kind face, but eyes full of pity. "Mr. Emeraldson, I'm so sorry." Mrs. Callan was brought in this morning. A neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, found her collapsed on the porch. He called emergency services immediately, but the stroke was too severe. I collapsed into a chair, hands over my head. The porch? What was she doing out there alone? Why wasn't anyone with her? My voice broke, tears spilling. The nurse explained. When the ambulance arrived, they rushed to resuscitate, but blood pressure plummeted, brain starved of oxygen. Doctors tried everything, but she passed peacefully, never regaining consciousness. She went quietly, not much pain. the nurse said, trying to comfort. The doctor entered, a tall man in glasses. "Mr. Emeraldson, we did all we could. The stroke was from a ruptured vessel, likely due to age and chronic heart issues. She had no one with her at the end. I'm very sorry." His words cut like a knife. No one with her. My mother, who sacrificed her life for the family, died alone on a cold hospital bed. Guilt surged like a tidal wave. Why didn't I visit more? Last week she complained of fatigue. I just told her to rest, promised to come end of month. Now it was too late. I stood frozen, staring out the window at Sebago Lake, glinting weakly in the afternoon sun. No dad, no brother, no wife. Just me. I tried Dad again. Still nothing. Nor too. Olivia seen but silent. The feeling of abandonment exploded in my chest like a bomb. No one else, just me, I told myself, voice choking. I had to be strong for Mom. I signed to receive the body, hands trembling on every line. Cold bureaucracy. Death certificate, cause confirmation, body transfer arrangements. The nurse asked, "Do you have any family to help?" I shook my head, holding back tears. "I'll handle it." They led me to the cold room where Mom lay. She looked strangely peaceful, silver hair loose, face free of worry lines. I knelt, trembling hand gently stroking her hair. "Mom, I'm sorry. I'm too late." A belated goodbye in absolute solitude. No cries, no embracing arms, just the hum of the air conditioning and heart-wrenching pain. I stood up, trying to regain my composure. The remaining hospital procedures were just cold stamps and signatures on paperwork. The nurse handed me a bag of Mom's personal items, a pair of earrings and a silver bracelet I'd given her for her birthday last year. Everything was small, simple, just like her life. I signed the final paper, thanked the doctor in a hoarse voice, then walked down the hallway. The hospital air was heavy, a mix of disinfectant and the creak of gurneys. I needed to get out, needed fresh air to breathe, to think about what to do next. My car was parked outside under Maine's gray afternoon sky, wind from Sebago Lake carrying the damp scent of rotting leaves. I started the engine, drove slowly to the old house in Sebago Lake, just 10 minutes from the hospital. The familiar road lined with towering pines felt endlessly long today, stretching out the pain. I turned on the radio, hoping music would chase away the silence. But it was just news about an approaching storm. Storm Nora is nearing the east coast. Heavy rain expected. The announcer's indifferent voice mirrored my life right now. I shut it off, letting the tires hum on the wet asphalt. The house appeared at the end of the red dirt road, a weathered 2-story wooden home, porch sagging with age. This was where I grew up, where Mom spent her life maintaining it. I parked, killed the engine, and walked heavily. The key trembled in my hand as I unlocked the door. The familiar smell rushed in, musty wood mixed with the herbal tea Mom loved. The living room was dark, only streetlight filtering through the windows. I flipped the switch, looked around. The dining table still held her unfinished breakfast, a cold cup of milk, the local paper open to the weather page. Mom had lived alone here for years, ever since Dad started his long business trips. I collapsed onto the old sofa, hands over my head. Where to start? The portrait photo. I needed to find one of Mom for the funeral. I stood, went to her bedroom where the closet still smelled of her favorite lavender soap. On the nightstand was the family photo album, a thin layer of dust. I flipped through it, memories flooding like a torrent. Photos of me and Noor as kids, grinning by the lake. Mom young, standing beside Dad on their wedding day. She was beautiful, long black hair, radiant smile. I chose the most recent one, Mom on the porch, gazing at the lake, eyes gentle but lonely. "This one, Mom," I whispered as if she could hear. I slipped it into my pocket, about to leave when my phone buzzed. A social media notification. I opened it thinking someone had heard and sent condolences. But no. It was a tag from one of Dad's old friends. The photo. My father, Emerald Emeraldson, 64, on Kennebunkport Beach, arm around a young woman, probably my age, both smiling flirtatiously in the sun. Blue sea, white sand, cocktails in hand. Caption: Fun weekend getaway with friends. My heart stopped. Kennebunkport, just a few hours drive, not some distant business trip. And that woman, not the first time I'd suspected, but now it was clear. Dad was romancing a young lover while Mom lay cold in the hospital. I called him immediately, gripping the phone until it hurt. It rang long, then he answered, voice cold and smug as always. "What is it, Gwen?" "I'm busy." "Busy?" I swallowed hard, trying to stay calm. "Dad, Mom's gone. Stroke this morning. I'm at the old house handling the funeral." Silence on the line, then a sigh. "Yeah, I heard from the hospital. Tragic. But I'm on a work trip, personal matters. I can't come back right away. You handle things for now, I'll be there later." Work trip? Personal matters? Blood rushed to my head. Work trip in Kennebunkport, Dad? With that young girl? Silence again. He stammered, "What are you talking about? Don't jump to conclusions." "I'm busy." Hanging up. He ended the call, leaving me standing there, ears ringing with rage. The lie was bitter as gall. Dad was cheating. Not the first time, but now. While Mom died alone, she'd endured him for years. His drinking, gambling, secret trips. She stayed silent for us, for the family. And him? Flirting on the beach, cocktail in hand, while his son knelt beside his wife's body. I punched the wall, pain shooting through my hand, but physical hurt was nothing compared to my shattered heart. Anxiety and anger surged. I paced the room, breathing hard. I had to call Noor, my brother. He'd come. I dialed Noor Emeraldson, 32, the baby brother, successful Boston investment broker. He'd always put work and self-interest first, selfish since childhood. It rang, then his rushed voice. "Bro, what?" "I'm in a meeting." "Meeting?" I swallowed my anger. "Noor, Mom's dead. I'm at the old house. Come back. The funeral's tomorrow." He sighed, papers rustling audibly. "Damn, that's serious. I'm sorry, but I'm closing a big deal. Can't drop it. You handle it, I'll send flowers or something." "Flowers? Big deal?" "Noor, Mom died alone. You can't come?" I shouted, voice breaking. A pause, then, "Bro, I'm really busy. Don't make it hard. Gotta go." I sank to the floor, back against the wall, head spinning. Indifferent brother. Always like this, spoiled by Dad, thinking only he mattered. Mom sacrificed so much for him, sent money for college, and now even a call was rushed. The family drama laid bare. Cheating father, selfish brother. Who else? Olivia? My wife. I hesitated but dialed. Olivia Hart Emeraldson, 33, marketing director in Portland, from money, always looking down on her husband's rural roots. We'd been married 5 years, but she never truly fit in. I called, heart pounding. She picked up on the third ring, voice icy. "Gwen, I'm in a meeting with the boss." "What? Meeting?" Again. I choked. "Olivia, my mom's gone. I'm in Sebago handling the funeral. Come help." Silence. Then a sigh. "I'm sorry, but I can't drop work for a funeral in the sticks. This project is huge." Funeral in the sticks? My mom reduced to that? I tried. "Olivia, it's my mother. You never visited, now she's gone. Can't you come? I need you." Her tone sharpened. "Gwen, you're always dragging me to that backwater. I can't stand it. If you insist, let's just divorce. I'm tired." "Divorce?" My heart squeezed. "You mean it?" I whispered. "Yes, hanging up. In one day I lost my mother and faced bitter truth. Cheating father with a young lover, indifferent brother with his big deal, wife turning away and threatening divorce. I sat on the cold floor, tears streaming, anxiety and pain crashed like waves. Why did everything collapse at once? I thought family was a foundation, but now it was illusion. Dad flirting on the beach, Noor signing contracts in Boston, Olivia in her fancy office. And me? Alone with Mom's body and the coming funeral. I stood, wiped my face, tried to focus. I had to act. I cleaned the house, swept fallen leaves from the porch, where Mom collapsed. Every motion cut like a knife, but I had to. I called Lakeside Funeral Home, arranged details. Viewing time, fresh flowers, casket. The staffer was sympathetic. "You alone? Need more help?" I smiled sadly. "Thanks. I'll manage." Rain started pattering on the tin roof like urgent drums. I found more old photos, organized belongings, called neighbors to inform. Mr. Jenkins, who found Mom, called back, "Gwen, I'm so sorry." Callan was kind. "I'll be at the funeral. At least the neighbors." Rain intensified, wind howling through cracks. I sat at the dining table, staring at Sebago Lake shrouded in mist. Emptiness enveloped me like thick fog. I thought of Mom. How had she lived, sacrificing for Dad, for us? What did she get? Betrayal, indifference, disdain. The drama was overwhelming, but I had to endure. Tomorrow was the funeral. If they didn't come, I'd do it all myself. The phone buzzed again. Text from Olivia. "Think it over." I deleted it, no reply. The night was long, only rain and pain. I lay awake on Mom's old bed, the thin blanket not enough to chase away the chill seeping into my bones. Rain pattered on the roof like relentless reminders of my solitude. I tried closing my eyes, but Mom's image kept appearing. Her sitting on the porch, calloused hands holding a teacup, gaze distant over the lake. She had lived a quiet life, caring for everyone without asking for anything. And me? How many chances had I missed to be with her? Hurried calls, brief visits. Guilt gnawed at me bit by bit, making sleep a luxury. I flipped through the old photo album under dim light, fingers tracing faded pictures. Here was young Mom, beaming beside Dad. There were Noor and I running by the lake. Those memories now cut like knives, reminding me that family had once been something warm before everything shattered. The next morning, rain still drizzled, but I rose at dawn. I brewed black coffee, drank it quickly to stay alert. I had to prepare for the funeral. I put on my only black suit, tie knotted clumsily because my hands still shook. I drove to Lakeside Funeral Home, where Mom's casket was ready. The staffer, a kind old man named Harold, looked at me with pity. "Mr. Emeraldson, we're done. She looks very peaceful." I nodded, holding back tears as I saw Mom once more through the casket's glass lid. She wore her favorite pale blue dress, silver hair neatly combed. "Thank you," I whispered, voice hoarse. They helped load the casket onto the hearse and we headed to the small church by Sebago Lake, a rustic wooden building with a curved roof nestled among pines. St. Mary's Church, where Mom prayed every Sunday. I remembered her stories of peaceful services here, where she found a bit of calm amid life's chaos. Today I had to handle everything myself. I swallowed the pain, entered with Harold's help. The air inside was cold, old wood mixed with faint incense. I arranged flowers, pure white lilies Mom loved, placed around the casket. I personally attached the portrait, the photo of her on the porch, gentle smile, onto the wooden stand. Every motion was careful, like Mom taught me. Always do things properly. "Son, don't rush. Do it right," she'd say. Now I did it all for her, though my heart was breaking. I checked the microphone, chairs, and Bible on the altar. The priest, Father Thomas, a tall, thin man with snow-white hair, arrived early to help. He patted my shoulder. "Gwen, you're strong." Callan was a wonderful woman. "We'll make this a warm service for her." I nodded, but anxiety filled me. Would Dad come? Would Noor change his mind? Would Olivia reconsider? I kept glancing at the church door where rain still tapped the porch. The path to the church was empty, only a few neighbors' cars parked early. I told myself, maybe they'll be late. Maybe. Visitors trickled in, only a few of Mom's old friends and close neighbors. First was Mr. Jenkins, who found her collapsed on the porch. He entered, hat-soaked, hugging me tight. "Gwen, I'm so sorry." Callan was like a mom to me. She always brought homemade bread. I bowed in thanks, voice choking. Thank you for being there, Mr. Jenkins. Without you, maybe... I couldn't finish, but he understood, patting my shoulder. Then Mrs. Martha, Mom's pottery partner from the backyard studio, arrived with wildflowers from her garden. Callan was the kindest person I knew, she said, tears rolling. She lived for others, never complained. Remember when I was sick? She brought soup to my bed. They gathered around the casket, sharing stories about Mom. A small group, just a dozen, but their whispers warmed the air. Harold from the funeral home recalled Mom fixing the church roof after a storm. She wasn't afraid of dirt, hammered nails like a man. Mrs. Sarah, next-door neighbor, added, Callan was simple, wore old dresses her whole life, but her heart was huge. She taught my kid pottery, said hands create beauty. I listened, heart warmed yet aching. These people, strangers to my city life, truly cared for Mom. They shared, smiled sadly through tears, and I stood holding back sobs. But throughout, I kept looking at the door. Every car passing outside made my heart race. Maybe Dad, I thought, imagining Emerald walking in remorseful. Or Noor in his shiny Boston suit apologizing for lateness, even Olivia, golden hair and forced smile. But no. The church door stayed still, only wind slipping through cracks with lake chill. The service passed in silence. No family arrived. I tried staying calm, but disappointment surged like Sebago in a storm. How could they be so heartless? Father Thomas began the rite. His warm voice echoed in the small church. Today we bid farewell to Callan Emeraldson, a gentle soul who lived a life of love. He read prayers. Everyone bowed. I sat front row, hands clenched white. Each prayer reminded me of the family's absence. When he spoke of Mom's life, from devoted wife to sacrificing mother, tears streamed. Neighbors nodded, added memories. Mrs. Martha stood, voice trembling. Callan wasn't just a friend. She was family. She taught me life is about giving, not taking. I listened, grateful for them, but the family void deepened. After prayers, people lined up to console. One by one, they hugged me, whispered comfort. Mr. Jenkins, stay strong, Gwen. She was proud of you. Mrs. Sarah, you're a good son. Always visited. I bowed to each, voice choked but polite. Thank you for coming. Mom would be happy. Each hug was a bit of warmth, but also a reminder of blood relatives' absence. I glanced at the door one last time, hoping for a miracle, but only rain outside. The final rite ended with a familiar hymn, voices trembling in harmony. The casket was carried to the cemetery beside the church, a small plot under pine canopy. Rain had stopped, but ground was soggy. My shoes sank in mud. Father Thomas led. Everyone followed silently like shadows. They lowered the casket, sprinkled earth, prayed last. Callan, rest in God's arms, Father Thomas said. People quietly left, patting my shoulder before driving off. Mr. Jenkins last, call if you need anything, Gwen. I nodded, watched them go, cars fading on the red dirt road. Only I remained before Mom's grave. Freshly dug, soil still loose, simple stone marker. Callan Emeraldson. Wind from the lake carried damp earth and rotting leaves. I knelt, hand stroking cold ground. Mom, I'm sorry. It's just me. Tears fell freely, mixing with lingering drizzle. I was grateful for the strangers who came. Neighbors, Mom's friends, they made the service less lonely. But I deeply felt the emptiness family left. Dad, Noor, Olivia, they chose absence, turned away from the woman who gave them everything. This abandonment drama was an unhealing wound, making me wonder, what is family if not being there in pain? I sat for hours, memories replaying like slow film. Mom sick, me caring, her weak smile. You're here, I'm better. Rare family dinners before Dad's personal matters. Nor as a kid, chasing me by the lake before selfishness. Olivia in early marriage, trying to understand my roots. Now all shattered past. Sunset over Sebago, lake turning sad orange. I stood, wiped tears, whispered, "I'll live well, Mom. For you." I left the cemetery, steps heavy, heart anxious for days ahead. The funeral ended, but the pain had just begun. I remember my childhood years when everything was simple and warm. Callan Emeraldson, my mother, was just over 40 then, a gentle, capable woman with calloused hands from endless work. She spent her days in the small pottery shed behind the house, a humble wooden hut with an old kiln and shelves full of clay. I often sat beside her, watching her knead vases and cups, her eyes always soft despite the sweat beading on her forehead. "Look, Gwen," she'd say gently. "Clay is soft, but it needs fire to become strong. Life is the same." She smiled, a warm smile that erased all fatigue. Her creations, simple flower vases, decorative pieces, were sold at the local market, enough to cover expenses as Dad began to falter. Mom was the one who kept that home from crumbling. She was both mother and father, managing everything from meals to clothes, schooling for Noor and me. Emerald Emeraldson, my father, around 45 then, had once been a strong man, owner of a small boatyard by the lake. But gradually he fell into drinking, gambling, and meaningless pursuits. I remember evenings he came home late, reeking of alcohol, eyes bloodshot. He'd slump into a chair, muttering about lost card games. On winning days, the house was briefly calm. He'd buy us gifts, a ball for me, a toy car for Noor, and laugh loudly, patting Mom's shoulder. "Callan, luck's with us today." But on losing days, arguments echoed through the house. He'd yell, slam the table, blame Mom for not saving money. "What do you do with my money?" he'd growl, face flushed. Mom stayed silent, head bowed, shielding us from his rages. She'd pull us into the bedroom, tell fairy tales to drown out the noise, her arms a protective shield. I remember one particular night when I was about 8. Dad lost big at the local casino, came home drunk. He smashed a vase Mom had just finished, shards flying across the floor. "Useless junk," he shouted. I trembled, hiding behind Mom while Noor wailed. Mom said nothing, just knelt to pick up the pieces, hands bleeding from sharp edges. The next morning, she rose early to cook breakfast as if nothing happened. "Your dad's just tired," she whispered to me. "Don't be angry with him." She chose silence, endurance, hoping her sons would grow up safe. She never fought back, though I saw sadness in her eyes when Dad left with the bottle. She taught me forgiveness was strength, but now I realize it was too great a burden for one woman. Noor, my brother, was spoiled by Dad from a young age, shaping his selfish, arrogant nature. 3 years younger than me, Noor was always favored, perhaps because he resembled Dad more, with curly hair and a charming smile. Dad took Noor fishing by the lake, taught him to drive boats while I stayed home helping Mom with pottery. Noor learned to boast early. "Dad says I'll be a tycoon," he'd say, clutching a shiny new toy car Dad bought. He thought only of himself, dismissing Mom's sacrifices. I remember when Mom was seriously ill, bedridden with high fever. Noor just peeked in, asked, "Mom got money for candy?" Then ran off to play. As he grew, he mocked me for being too much like her, too kind, too hard-working without seeking gain. "Gwen, stay home throwing pots with Mom. I'll make big money in the city," he'd sneer, and Dad nodded approval. Mom never blamed Noor. She hugged him, stroked his hair, said, "Son, remember to love each other." She stayed silent before his selfishness, hoping we'd grow up well. But I saw her sadness, nights on the porch gazing at Sebago Lake, eyes misty with unshed tears. She sacrificed everything. Time, health, even her own dreams. She once wanted to study painting but gave it up for family. Now in this house, I realized she was the sole pillar keeping everything from collapse. In her final years, things worsened. Her husband, my father, rarely came home. He chased new relationships, young women in nearby towns, long business trips. He left his wife alone with heart disease and lonely old age. I remember Dad's last visit about 2 years ago. One night, arguing over money, then gone again. Mom sat quietly, cold tea in hand. No complaint. She weakened, Heart irregular but managed alone. I'm fine, she'd say on the phone, voice trembling. Noor, my brother, rarely contacted. In Boston, busy with investment brokering, he called only for money or to complain. Mom, work's stressful, I need a break, he'd say, never asking what she needed. His last visit 3 years ago was to grab old things, then rush off. Boston's waiting, he laughed, not noticing how thin Mom had become. I was angry at Noor, but Mom said, "He's young, Gwen. Don't blame him." Even Olivia, my wife, added to the isolation. From a wealthy Portland family, she always scorned her husband's rural roots. When I wanted to visit Mom, she'd frown, calling it wasting time driving hundreds of miles to sit with an old, sick woman. "Gwen, I have work. Why that backwater?" she'd say, voice full of disdain. Early in marriage, she tried, visited once, brought expensive gifts, but gradually avoided it. "Your mom's old. She can manage," she said, unaware of Mom's loneliness. While everyone turned away, I was the only one who returned regularly. I drove from Portland with medicine, fixed the sagging porch after storms, tended the backyard garden, took Mom to Sebago Hospital. We sat on the windy porch, watching the lake sparkle. "Tell me about work," she'd ask, eyes lighting up. I spoke of the jewelry shop, pieces I made. She listened, nodding proudly. Each farewell at the door, she smiled weakly, said she was fine, but I knew behind it were long nights alone. She hugged me tight, whispered, "You're my joy." The more I recall, the clearer it becomes. Mom lived a life of endurance and sacrifice for the unworthy. Dad betrayed, Noor selfish, Olivia scornful. They took from her without giving back. She was the only soul keeping this family alive, like the kiln's steady flame warming everyone. Now with only memories, I feel it deeply. I stood, went to the porch, cold lake wind on my face, moon high, illuminating calm water. I whispered, "Mom, I won't forget." Pain lingered, but memories gave strength. Tomorrow I'd return to Portland, face a new life, one Mom taught me to be strong for. I wandered the house, touching Mom's things. A vase she made, faded wall painting. Each told a story. I remembered age 15, Dad drunk, hitting me for talking back. Mom rushed in, took the blows. "Don't touch him," she yelled, rare anger. Dad stopped but grew more distant. Mom cried quietly, bandaged me. "I'm sorry, son." She apologized, though it wasn't her fault. Memories piled up, exhausting yet clarifying. How did Mom live? Sacrificing without resentment. I'd learn from her but not be exploited. Late night I slept, dreaming of Mom's gentle smile. The next morning, Portland's sky was gray, sea wind carrying a salty tang. I rose early, packed a few personal items from the old house, Mom's silver bracelet, the family photo album, and a vase she made, then locked the door. The click echoed like a final goodbye to Sebago Lake. I drove back to Portland, the familiar I-95 now stretching endlessly, every mile recalling yesterday's lonely funeral. Neighbors were there, but family wasn't. Dad still in Kennebunkport with his lover Noor, busy with his big deal in Boston, and Olivia. She hadn't even called. I floored it, trying to push the thoughts away, but they clung like Maine fog. Our small apartment in Portland appeared after 2 hours. A modest building, 3rd floor, balcony overlooking a busy street. I parked in the underground garage, carried the bag up the elevator, heart pounding. Was Olivia home? As marketing director, she often returned late, but today was Saturday, maybe relaxing with her laptop and coffee. I opened the door, her familiar perfume wafted, sweet vanilla, but now it irritated me. "Olivia?" I called, voice hoarse from exhaustion. No answer. In the kitchen, she sat at the table, eyes glued to her computer, headphones on tight. She was in an online meeting, professional smile as she spoke to colleagues. I stood watching her act as if nothing had happened. My mother just died. The funeral ended in solitude, yet Olivia was busy with work, as if my world hadn't collapsed. She ended the call minutes later, removed her headphones, glanced at me indifferently. "You're back? I thought you'd stay in Sebago a few more days." No question about the funeral. no comforting hug. That indifference was the last straw I couldn't hold back anymore. I'd suppressed pain for days at the hospital, funeral home, cemetery, but now, facing my wife, everything exploded. Olivia, my mom's gone. Funeral was yesterday. You don't ask anything? I said, voice trembling, gripping the bag strap. She shrugged, stood to brew fresh coffee as if discussing weather. I know, you texted. I'm sorry, but I was really busy. This project's important. Boss set a tight deadline. Busy? Deadline? My heart raced, blood rushing to my head. I set the bag down, stepped closer. Sorry? That's it? My mom died alone, no one with her. You never visited, never called, despite my pleas. And every time I mentioned her, you acted contemptuous, like she was a burden. Words poured like a breached dam full of pent-up resentment. I recalled proposing, weekend in Sebago to see Mom. She'd frown. What for? Stare at the lake? That attitude now cut like a knife. Olivia paused, turned with calm, no emotion. You're digging up old stuff again. I don't like the countryside. I told you. Your mom was old, she managed. You're blaming me unfairly. I have my own life, my own work. Her casual words ignited years of bottled endurance. I'd tolerated her scorn for my family, her coldness when I was sad, late nights reeking of office party alcohol. No more. Casual? You call that casual? My mom died alone. She sacrificed her life and you never called her mom. You always despised my roots, saw Sebago as backward. Do you know how hurt she was when I said you wouldn't come? I shouted, voice breaking, finger pointing shakily. The argument erupted fiercely like the storm I'd long sensed. The small apartment grew stifling, shouts echoing off walls. I paced, trying to express the pain. You lack respect, Olivia. Your coldness and pretense toward my family. Forced smiles with Dad, avoiding Mom mentions. You think I didn't notice? I tried bridging our worlds, but you only care about work and rich friends. She fired back bitterly, face flushed. You're too weak, Gwen. Stuck in the past, clinging to that backwater. I'm tired of your whining about Mom, Sebago. Life moves forward, not backward for the old and weak. Weak? It felt like a slap. Weak? For loving my mom? For not turning away like you? You're the fake one. Smiling to faces, scorning behind backs. No one yielded. We faced each other, breathing hard, air thick. I looked into her eyes, searching for remaining affection. Early days walking Portland hand in hand, dreaming of the future. But now only distance like strangers. I realized nothing, love or understanding, could save us. The marriage had cracked long ago from small fights over money, work, family. Mom's death was the final drop. You don't understand and you don't want to, I whispered, weary. She shook her head. You're the one who doesn't. I can't live like this. Olivia quietly entered her home office where she spent hours with laptop and papers. I stood, heart chaotic, anxiously awaiting an apology, a hug. But no. She returned minutes later, holding a paper, placing it gently on the table. I looked, divorce papers, pre-signed, her neat signature dated 2 weeks ago. As if prepared for this moment, waiting for the chance. My heart stopped. You already signed? I whispered, voice breaking. She nodded, eyes averted. I think it's better. We're not compatible anymore. I stared at the paper, speechless. Her signature was the final knife severing the bond. I felt I'd lost the last family tie, mom gone, dad betraying, brother indifferent, now wife leaving. Pain surged, not anger but vast emptiness. I sank into a chair, fingers tracing the paper, wedding memories flooding. Portland ceremony, Olivia radiant in white, early trips, movie nights in each other's arms. But distance grew. She climbed careers, I kept the small jewelry shop, my family a burden. Where will you go? I asked hoarsely. She shrugged. Hotel for now, then move out. She turned, grabbed her bag, left without looking back. The door slammed, leaving me alone in the silent apartment. I sat hours staring at the divorce papers, tears streaming. The drama was overwhelming. Lost mom, lost wife in 1 week. I thought of mom. Endured dad for years without divorce. For us. Me, I refused fake living. I stood, tore a corner but stopped. Just sign, end it. I called a lawyer friend, voice shaking. Need divorce advice. He scheduled tomorrow. That night I lay staring at the ceiling, memories jumbled. Olivia once loved me, but that love died slowly. Next morning I rose, brewed coffee, started a new life. Alone. I returned to the jewelry shop, tools in hand, mind chaotic. Customers asked, "You okay?" I forced a smile. Fine. But not. I called Noor, hoping comfort. He hung up quickly. "Bro, busy." Dad didn't answer. Truly alone. I thought of Sebago, mom's grave, told myself, be strong. But pain smoldered, an unhealing wound. Days later, Olivia moved out. We met at a cafe, signed papers. She was cold. Fair assets split. I nodded, no argument. As she left, I sat watching bustling Portland streets, feeling lost. Everything gone. Mom, wife, family. But in the pain, I found strength. I'd live for myself, as mom taught. To fill the void after the divorce, I buried myself in work. The small jewelry shop in Portland became my refuge. I rose at dawn, opened earlier than usual, spent hours bending gold wires and carving gemstones. My hands stayed busy, but my mind wandered to Sebago Lake, to mom's grave by the water. Customers came more often, perhaps sensing my silence and focus like a true craftsman. An elderly woman buying a silver bracelet asked, "You okay?" "You look sad." I forced a smile. "I'm fine, ma'am. Just life." She patted my shoulder, and that moment reminded me of mom. She always comforted others that way. Work helped me forget, but each evening in the empty apartment, loneliness crashed in. I ate dinner alone, watched TV mindlessly, slept fitfully with dreams of the past. One morning, about 2 weeks after the funeral, I received a letter from attorney Samuel Green's office in Sebago Lake. It arrived by mail, crisp white envelope, neat handwriting. "Dear Mr. Gwen Emeraldson, please come to the office for the reading of Mrs. Callan Emeraldson's will." My heart raced. A will? Did mom have one? She was so simple, saving every penny, selling pottery at the local market. I thought she had nothing but the old house and backyard shed. I held the letter, hands trembling, excited like a child awaiting a gift. "What did you leave me, Mom?" I whispered, gazing out the window at bustling Portland streets. I called to confirm Mr. Green's warm voice. "Mr. Emeraldson, let's meet this afternoon. There are important things to hand over." Important. Curiosity mixed with anxiety. Any surprises? I drove to Sebago Lake that afternoon, the familiar road now heavy with memories. Lake wind blew into the car, pine and water scents making me miss Mom deeply. Samuel Green's office was in the town center, a small wooden building with a modest sign. He greeted me at the door, a man around 60, thick glasses, kind smile. "Mr. Gwen, come in." "I'm so sorry about Callan. She was a wonderful client." We sat in his tidy office, a thick file on the desk. He poured tea, then said, "I've represented your mother for years, since she started small investments. She left you some important things." "Investments? Mom invested?" I froze, unbelieving. Mom was frugal, wore old dresses, ate simply. How could she invest? Mr. Samuel opened the file, reading the will in a calm voice. "All assets of Mrs. Callan Emeraldson are bequeathed to her eldest son, Gwen Emeraldson." I sat up straight, heart pounding. "All? What did she have?" He continued listing. 3 plots of land around Sebago Lake, over 5 hectares total, estimated value $1 million. A well-maintained lakeside restaurant operating profitably worth about $800,000. Plus a long-term investment account at the local bank. Stocks, bonds, savings fund total over $3.5 million. I was stunned. mouth agape, disbelieving. My simple mother, saving pennies lifelong, had quietly built such a fortune. How? From pottery sales? Or savings Dad never knew? I remembered her at the kitchen table jotting in ledgers. I thought just daily expenses. How? How is this possible? I whispered, voice faltering. Mr. Green smiled. Callan was smart. She invested since the 80s, bought cheap land, opened the restaurant with friends, saved wisely. She wanted it for the deserving one. I sat reeling. Excitement, shock, gratitude swirled. Mom did it all silently while Dad drank and gambled. Noor was selfish, Olivia scorned. She sacrificed, but not in vain. She built my future. Mr. Samuel handed me a sealed handwritten envelope, dated weeks before her death. She asked me to give this after the will, he said. I opened it, hands shaking, Mom's neat script on white paper. My dear son Gwen, thank you for always being with me when others turned away. Your dad has his own matters, Noor chases work. Your wife dislikes the countryside. But you came, brought medicine, fixed the porch, sat with me by the lake. I leave everything to you, not because you're the eldest, but because you're the only one who didn't forget me. Tears rolled, blurring the words. She continued, I ask you to keep the pottery shed. Open it for the town's poor to learn and work, so the flame I kept doesn't die. Live well, son. I love you. Her words cut like a knife but gave strength. I understood. The gift wasn't just money, but a mission. Live as she believed in me. Keep the shed, help the poor. That's how she wanted me to continue. I wiped tears, thanked Mr. Green. Thank you. I'll follow her words. He patted my shoulder. Callan would be proud. I left the office, drove to Portland at dusk, mind full of thoughts. The first days after receiving the will felt deceptively calm. I rose early, brewed black coffee in the empty apartment, where Olivia once lived, now only wind whistling through the window. I walked to the shop, breathing Portland's crisp air, the scent of toasted bread from the corner cafe. Work kept me focused. A young couple ordered wedding rings. I meticulously engraved their requested patterns. Beautiful, Mr. Gwen, the girl said, eyes sparkling. I smiled. Thank you. Hope it brings happiness. But inside I thought of my own broken marriage, of Olivia somewhere with her new life. I avoided thinking about Dad and Noor, avoided checking my phone often. Evenings I read small business books, planned the pottery shed, hire local workers, buy materials, open free classes. I imagined Sebago's unemployed youth learning to knead clay like Mom did. That was how I'd continue her legacy, keep the flame alive. The peace lasted about a week until one chilly autumn afternoon when everything changed. I was in the shop cleaning the display case when the bell rang. I looked up. My heart stopped. Emerald Emeraldson, my father, and Noor Emeraldson, my brother, stood there together, a rare sight in years. Dad wore an old coat, silver hair disheveled, looking older than 64. Noor, 32, in a shiny Boston suit, but his smile forced, unable to hide awkwardness. They acted unusually close, Dad patting Noor's shoulder like bonded father and son. Gwen, my boy, Dad said, voice falsely warm. Noor cut in. Bro, we just want to visit and talk family. Visit? Family? I froze, anxiety surging. They knew about the will. News spreads fast in a small town like Sebago. I stood, said nothing, just nodded them in. We sat around the small shop table, air thick as before a storm. Dad started with fake sympathy, voice trembling like bad acting. Gwen, I'm so sorry. We all regret not being with Callan in time. She left too suddenly. I was busy, but now I see I was wrong. He paused, Noor nodding along. Noor forced a grin. Exactly, bro. Family should manage Mom's assets together. Brothers lean on each other, don't let money divide us. Money? There it was, the real reason. Not regret, but the will. My heart pounded, anger rising, but I held it. I sat silent, stared, then slowly recounted, calm but sharp, Mom's final lonely years. Mom lived alone in the old house, severe heart issues, but never complained. When she died, Dad was vacationing with his lover in Kennebunkport, cocktail in hand. Brother cited a big deal in Boston, skipped the funeral. My wife threatened divorce over not wanting to visit the sticks. Mom died alone, no one beside her. I detailed it, each word a knife, funeral solitude flooding back. Emerald bowed his head, fists clenched, avoiding my eyes. Noor dodged my gaze, face flushed, feet shuffling under the table. Tension hung like a taut wire about to snap. I said curtly, "Mom forgave everyone in her letter, but I can't forget." The words hit like a hammer, they fell silent. I stood, opened the door, politely showed them out. "Dad, brother, go. I'm busy." Emerald rose awkwardly, stammering, "Gwen, son." Noor tried more, mouth open, but I shook my head, eyes cold. Father and son left silently, heavy steps on Portland's sidewalk. I closed the door, leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Family drama restarted, but this time I wasn't weak. They came for money, not love. I knew my peace was about to shatter. Days later in the jewelry shop, the bell rang again. This time Olivia. She appeared at the door, golden hair, careful makeup, but eyes slightly red as if she'd cried. "Gwen," she said softly, "I've thought it over. I want to reconcile. We can start again." Reconcile? My heart tightened, anxiety mixed with anger. She knew about the will too, news spread through mutual friends or social media. I looked at her, eyes steel cold, no longer warm. "Olivia, go home. I once begged for a chance, when Mom died, when I needed you most, but you turned away, handed divorce papers. Now between us, only old memories, and they're not enough to rebuild." She bit her lip, voice trembling. "Gwen, I was wrong. I heard about the will. We could manage it together. There it was, money." I shook my head. "Not about money. You never truly loved me or my family." Olivia left, face embarrassed, steps hurried on the street. I watched, no anger, just vast emptiness. She was once my wife, now just the past. In the following days, calls, texts, handwritten letters poured from all three. Dad called mornings. "Gwen, I want to meet, talk family." Noor texted, "Bro, don't be mad. We're brothers. Share." Olivia sent a neat lettered note. "I miss you. Give us a chance." I stayed silent, no replies, no pickups. Each buzz was a punch to the heart, but I stood firm. I knew my peace was threatened. Greed never stops, and those who abandoned me wouldn't stay away long. They'd return with new tactics for their share. I sat in the shop, watching bustling Portland streets, telling myself, "Be strong." For Mom. The drama wasn't over, but I was ready to face it. I began protecting the assets. Met Mr. Green to reinforce the will, hired my own lawyer. Evenings I reread Mom's letter, her words gave strength. Memories of her on the porch, storytelling helped me endure. Dad called again, pleading, "Gwen, I need money for the boatyard." I hung up. Noor texted, "You're stingy." I deleted. Olivia came to the shop once more. I closed early. Emptiness turned to resolve. I'd live simply, fulfill Mom's mission despite the greed storm coming. Calls persisted, letters piled. One from Dad, "Son, I regret. Let's meet." From Noor, "Blood brothers, split evenly." From Olivia, "I still love you." I burned them, watched flames, thought of Mom's kiln fire she kept alive. Greed was clear, but I didn't waver. My peace was threatened, but I'd protect it. After numerous rejections of their meeting requests, Emerald and Noor stopped pretending to be affectionate. They began spreading vicious rumors throughout Sebago Lake and even into Portland, malicious gossip aimed at smearing me. I heard whispers from an old friend in Sebago. "Gwen, you heard? Your dad and Noor are telling everyone you're monopolizing Mom's assets, tricking the lawyer to seize the lakeside land and despising your own flesh and blood." My heart tightened hearing those words. Monopolizing? Me, the only one by Mom's side until the end, now slandered as greedy. I sat in the jewelry shop, holding small pliers, unable to focus. Memories of Mom flooded back. Her at the kiln, kneading clay, eyes gentle. She left everything to me out of trust, not because I fought for it. But Dad and Noor, who once turned away, now returned with claws. The rumors spread like wildfire, especially on local forums, Sebago Lake Facebook groups, town Reddit threads, even Portland ones. I opened my phone, scrolled an anonymous post. Gwen Emeraldson, Callan's son, monopolizes the will, fools the lawyer to steal Sebago lakeside land, despises elderly father and blood brother. Who trusts someone like that? Accompanied by venomous comments, bottomless greed. I bought a ring from his shop, now it creeps me out. Family ruined by money. I slumped into a chair, head spinning. Anxiety and anger surged. How could they be so filthy? My father, the 64-year-old former pillar, stooping to lies. Noor, 32, in his shiny suit, using broker's tongue to slander his brother. Many customers grew suspicious. Shop revenue dropped noticeably. A regular asked oddly, "Gwen, I heard you monopolized your mom's assets?" I shook my head, calm. "Not true, ma'am. Just a misunderstanding." But she left without buying, and such cases increased. The once busy shop grew quiet, doorbells rare. I sat alone, staring at bustling Portland streets, feeling isolated in the crowd. It didn't stop there. Emerald and Noor escalated the dirty game. They hired their own lawyer, a Boston specialist in estate disputes, and filed a lawsuit in Cumberland County Court. Reason: will coerced and invalid, demanding asset freeze. I received the summons by mail, hands trembling, holding the paper. Freeze. The 3 lakeside plots, the thriving restaurant, the investment account, all at risk of being locked. I sat at the empty apartment's dining table, rereading the complaint. Dad and Noor accused me of forcing Mom to sign while frail, deceiving the lawyer, and usurping family's rightful inheritance. Cold legal language, but raw greed behind it. My heart pounded, anxiety like before a massive storm. How could they? Mom wrote a handwritten letter, clear instructions, but they'd twist truth for their share. I thought of Mom. She endured silently, but now her wishes trampled. Olivia, my ex-wife, joined the dirty play. She posted cryptic messages on Instagram and Facebook. Some people ditch their wife when money comes, forget the past. Life's funny, isn't it? With a photo of her by coffee, sad smile. It spread fast, netizens buzzing. Definitely about the ex. Money changes people, honey, she deserves better. I scrolled comments, heart slicing. Olivia, who threatened divorce when I needed her most, now used social media to smear me. She knew about the will via rumors, now playing victim for sympathy. I sat in the shop, phone buzzing with tags, anxiety, anger, exhaustion. Why do people believe gossip so easily? I remembered early marriage, Olivia saying, "You're my everything." Now, just greed and resentment. I stayed silent. No defensive posts, no argumentative calls. Instead, I sought attorney Samuel Green in Sebago Lake, Mom's longtime representative. I drove there one rainy afternoon, heart heavy with worry. He greeted me warmly. "Gwen, I know. They sued? Don't worry. The will's airtight. We reviewed the complaint for hours." He explained, "No evidence, just slander. We'll defend." I nodded thanks, but my heart remained burdened. This lawsuit wasn't just money. It was emotional wound. Blood relatives dragging each other to court over the deceased's legacy. I returned to Portland, lay awake, Mom's memories flooding. Her on the porch saying, "Son, live honestly, that's enough." I'd do that despite the dirty game dragging on. The trial unfolded at Cumberland County Courthouse, a grim gray stone building in Portland. I sat on the defendant's bench, hands clenched, anxious, like facing a crowd for the first time. Dad and Noor sat opposite, avoiding my eyes. Their lawyer, a tall Bostonian, argued, "Will coerced, Mrs. Callan frail, not lucid." It stung hearing. Coerced? Mom wrote a loving letter. Samuel Green rose, steady voice. Your Honor, I present original documents, video of Mrs. Callan signing, notary confirmation, all transparent, no coercion. He played the video. Mom in his office, clear voice. I leave everything to my son Gwen. Neat signature, lucid eyes. The judge nodded. Courtroom atmosphere shifted. Sebago Lakeside neighbors volunteered as witnesses, deeply moving me. Mr. Jenkins, who found Mom, collapsed. Gwen was the only one regularly caring for Callan, brought medicine, doctor visits, fixed the roof in winter. Mrs. Martha, pottery friend. Callan told me, that boy's my everything. She made the will willingly, no pressure. Witnesses detailed my monthly visits, windy porch talks, while Dad and Noor were absent. Honest, heartfelt testimony silenced the court. Dad bowed his head. Noor shuffled feet. Their lawyer faltered. Evidence and testimony clear, the case ended swiftly. The judge banged the gavel. Court dismisses the entire claim by Mr. Emerald and Mr. Noor Emeraldson. Will valid. Gwen Emeraldson sole heir. I sat, exhaling relief but no joy. Just unburdened. After local press ran corrections. Sebago Lake will dispute, court affirms transparency, rejects allegations. The article detailed witnesses, my care for Mom. Townsfolk gradually learned the truth. Rumors faded. Old customers returned to the jewelry shop, apologizing. Gwen, I was wrong. Don't hold it. Some brought flowers for encouragement, white lilies like Mom's funeral. I smiled, thanked them, but my heart still ached. Revenue recovered, the shop bustled again, but the emotional scar from family would never fully heal. Dad and Noor, blood relatives, slandered me in court and public. Olivia posted smears online. How to forget? I thought of Mom. She forgave, but I couldn't. From then I decided to escape the noise, start anew, using Mom's inheritance to restore the pottery shed and fulfill her final wish. I sold the Portland jewelry shop, packed simple belongings, and drove permanently to Sebago Lake. The old lakeside house was now mine. I'd expand the shed, buy new kilns, quality materials, open free vocational classes for the poor. I envisioned Sebago's unemployed youth arriving, kneading clay, finding hope as Mom taught me. The flame won't die, I whispered, gazing at Sebago sparkling in the sun. Family drama ended, but a new journey began. Living honestly, helping others as Mom wanted. I visited Mom's grave often, telling her about the trial. Mom, I won, but I'm tired. Lake wind brought peace. Dad called again, weak voice. Gwen, I was wrong. I hung up. Noor texted, Bro, forgive. I deleted. Olivia posted anew, but I blocked her. Wounds deep, but time would heal. I started repairing the shed, hammer in hand, nailing like Mom did. Each strike a step forward, away from filth toward light. Weeks later, the studio took shape. I hung the sign. Callan Studio, free vocational training. Sebago locals came, curious. Gwen, you serious? I smiled. For my mom. They joined, clay kneaded under hands, laughter echoing. I felt Mom beside me in every breath. Wounds not fully healed, but life new and meaningful. I'd protected my peace despite the dirty game nearly drowning me. While my life gradually brightened, those who had abandoned me paid the price one by one. Emerald, my father, fell into deep crisis. Losing the lawsuit ruined his reputation. Newspapers reported it. Sebago whispered, Mr. Emerald sued his own son, slandering for money. Shameful. Customers fled. His small lakeside boatyard, once his pride, grew deserted. Repair orders vanished, partners turned away. He sold it dirt cheap, barely covering bank debts. I heard from Mr. Jenkins. Your dad lives quietly in the old house now, sick and alone. He coughs, no one cares. My heart tightened, imagining Dad, the once strong man, sitting alone with a bottle, staring at dark Sebago Lake. He called a few times, voice frail. Gwen, I was wrong. Let me see you. But I stayed silent, not angry, just sad. He chose that path. Now he bore the consequences. His drama was tragic, from proud boatyard owner to lonely, ailing old man. Noor, my brother, fared no better. He drowned in Boston debts, failed investments, borrowing from friends to maintain his lavish life. The lost lawsuit and spreading rumors turned friends away. Noor Emeraldson, the guy who sued his brother for money, untrustworthy. Business partners fled, banks foreclosed. Noor sold his luxury Boston condo, left the city with old suitcases. I heard he scraped by in a nearby small town, odd jobs to pay debts. Once, Noor called, voice shaking. "Bro, I need help." Just alone, I shook my head over the phone. "Noor, handle it yourself. I've helped enough." Noor's drama was dramatic. From arrogant broker boasting cars and parties to a wandering debtor in isolation, I felt no schadenfreude, just regret for the little brother who once chased me by Sebago Lake. Olivia was no exception. After smearing me online, she faced fierce backlash. Her cryptic posts spread, but people turned against her. She threatened divorce when her husband lost his mom, now slanders for money. Fake. Comments flooded. "Olivia Hart, you're the greedy one. Company should fire her." Her marketing firm dismissed her for damaging reputation. Clients boycotted, boss called her in. "Olivia, your posts hurt the company." She lost her job, friends, lived isolated in Portland. I saw her last post. Life teaches lessons. Then her account went silent. Olivia's drama was a vicious cycle, from successful directors scorning rural roots to unemployed and alone. I thought of early marriage days, her radiant smile, but now only pity, no hatred. While those who abandoned me paid the price, I chose silence and compassion. I held no grudge, posted no rebuttals, made no accusatory calls. I saw it as natural karma, reap what you sow, as Mom taught. Dad's drinking led to sick isolation, Noor's selfishness to crushing debt, Olivia's scorn to total loss. I sat on the porch, gazing at peaceful Sebago Lake, whispering, "Mom, I'm not angry at them. Just sad." Compassion isn't instant forgiveness, but release to move on. I focused on the studio, teaching classes, helping the community, finding joy in students' smiles. Each morning, I opened the studio, breathed lake damp air, felt Mom's presence. In every breath, every good deed continuing her legacy. She seemed by the kiln, stroking clay, whispering, "Well done, son." The story spread. The pottery studio became a symbol. Local TV filmed Gwen Emeraldson, from will dispute to community bond. Students grew, from 10 to 30, then 50. We made pottery sold at markets, revenue reinvested in classes. One evening, Tommy, first student, gave me a vase he made. "Mr. Gwen, thank you. I have a job now." I hugged him, tears rolling. Past drama faded, replaced by new light. I repaired the elementary school, funded scholarships. A poor girl got books, beaming. "Thank you, Uncle Gwen." The nursing home received new beds. Elders hugged me. "You're just like Callan." Each act honored Mom. But wounds remained. Nights I lay awake, recalling the lawsuit, slanders. I walked by the lake, wind blowing, telling myself, just karma. Dad sent a final letter. "Son, I'm going soon." I didn't reply, but prayed for him. Noor appeared in Sebago once, gaunt. "Bro." I gave him bread, no money. Olivia texted, "I was wrong." I deleted. Compassion means that, not aiding the unchanged. Each morning opening the studio, I felt Mom. In soft clay, warm kiln fire, community laughter. Life meaningful, light after darkness. I'd found true peace. Now for the message, lessons, and advice from this story. The core message. Genuine love and filial piety will always be rewarded, even if belatedly, while greed leads only to isolation. Lessons learned. Cherish family while you can. Don't let money cloud bonds. Patience and compassion aren't weakness, but strength to overcome adversity. Advice for you. If distant from loved ones, call, visit, don't wait until it's too late. And facing greed, choose silence and good deeds, for karma handles the rest.